All right, the question here says to solve the equation. And first we need to find out what kind of an equation it is. I know it's an equation because I see an equal sign. Equation, equate, equals. And I need to find out if it's linear or quadratic. Those are the two types that I know about right now. And this is not linear because it's not x to the first. So this one is actually going to be a quadratic equation to solve. Okay, now, the first step of solving a quadratic equation is to make sure it equals 0. Okay, smiley face. And then let's follow our other steps to factor completely. When you factor completely, you make sure that it is in order. X to the third, I don't see any x squareds, and then x to the first, so that's in order. And then the next step is to see, is there a greatest common factor that I can pull out of both of these terms? And there is. It's an x, right? I can take an x out of both of them. So I'll bring an x out front, and I will be left with 4x squared minus 1, right? I'm taking 1x away from here. It gives me a square. And when I divide this by x, x over x gives me 1. All right, so equals 0. Now, it's not factored completely. Look at this. This is the difference of two squares. Okay, this is 2x times 2x, and this is 1 times 1, and it is a difference. Difference means subtraction. So let's go ahead and factor completely. This x drops down. The difference of two squares is going to give me my conjugates, right? My math cousins. So it's going to be 2x and 2x, 1 and 1, plus and minus. Now it is factored completely. Okay. Once it's factored completely, I need to set all of my factors equal to 0. So here's a factor right here. So x equals 0. Here's a factor. 2x plus 1 equals 0. And then here's another factor. 2x minus 1 equals 0. Now, all three of these are linear equations. So to solve a linear equation, well, in this case, all we have to do is isolate the variable, get that grumpy x by himself. This one is already by itself. X equals 0. Done. This one, to get the grumpy x by itself, I will subtract 1 from both sides. So 2x equals 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And one more step to get that x by itself, I need to divide out the 2. Divide both sides by 2. 2 over 2 turns into a 1x equals negative 1/2. It's a fraction. That's okay. You can have a fraction as an answer. Let's solve this one. I'm going to add 1 on both sides so that this cancels out. Drop down your equals. On the left-hand side is 2x equals 0 plus 1 is 1. One more step, divide both sides by 2 so that the 2's cancel, and x equals 1/2. So I have 3 answers here. Okay, x can be 0, x can be negative 1/2, and x can be positive 1/2. And just a little hint, when you see this exponent of 3, you should expect a possibility of 3 answers. The way that you'd write this in a computer, it's going to say enter your answers separated by commas. So you could just put 0, negative 1/2, and positive 1/2. And don't forget that 0. A lot of people will forget that, but that's one of your possible answers.